A Metropolitan Police Constable has kept his job after hitting a man in his crown jewels with a taser because PTSD. Well, the information doesn't actually say PTSD, but I'll let you make up your own mind in a moment. The reports actually say he kept his job because he likely stopped a murder, although there doesn't seem to be any evidence of that either. PC Anthony Howe was involved in a foot chase in Dalston, East London, to try and detain a group of 3 men. It's said that at least one of the men was wielding a large knife. Now, before you get excited, there's nothing to suggest the man that PC Howe caught was the man with the knife. In fact, it's never mentioned in the information that I've found for this incident, so it's likely the man was unarmed. It's said that when PC Howe caught up with one of the men, the man was already being pinned down by 2 of his colleagues. However, PC Howe decided at that moment that it was a good idea to inflict some pain on the now restrained man. He deliberately put all of his weight standing on the foot of the man, who was already on the floor. It said he did that for around 10 seconds, causing the man to cry out in pain. PC Howe then knelt down and hit the man in his genitals with his taser. After the man was brought to his feet, he then took hold of his collar and pressed his arm against the man's throat. This man had already been detained, by the way, and was in handcuffs. PC Howe's misconduct hearing were told all of this information on July the 5th, and were also told how Howe, in his signed statement of events, failed to mention that he stood on the man's foot or that he jabbed him in the crown jewels with his taser. When the panel showed Howe's CCTV footage of the incident, Howe responded by telling the panel that he did not realise he was standing on the man's foot. Obviously, you wouldn't notice if your foot was on another person's foot, or even on anything else as large as a foot on an otherwise relatively flat surface, such as a pavement or road. He also claimed he hit the man with the taser because he saw him move his handcuffed hands towards his waistband. Unfortunately for PC Howe, the panel rejected his explanation, as there is no evidence from CCTV that the man had moved his hand to his waist, and found that his use of force on September the 7th, 2020 had been excessive. Now, you remember I said he kept his job after hitting a man in his crown jewels with the taser because PTSD? Well, this is why I say that, and this is why I worry about the police in general. The misconduct panel decided that PC Howe's actions were influenced by an incident the previous month on August the 25th, 2020, where PC Howe was said to have been punched, kicked and pushed to the floor by a mob in Stoke Newington. The attack was captured on social media, apparently, but I've not been able to find a video. The panel decided his serious error in judgment on September the 7th was likely influenced by those prior events. Basically, PC Howe is a liability. He clearly hasn't dealt with what happened to him and is now going about his job taking it out on other people. People who can't defend themselves, I might add. Yes, there are reports he was with someone with a knife, but when he got to the man was already handcuffed, unarmed and on the floor. There was no need to inflict pain further, and he took the opportunity to do just that, which makes him a dangerous individual to be wearing a police uniform. That is until he gets some kind of mental health support. And PC Howe isn't the only one. How often do we hear of police using the good old mental health card when they face situations? 95% of the time, you will hear the excuse to explain their actions, which means that a vast majority of coppers are running around the streets with weapons and they're mentally unstable. All I can say is thank God PC Howe wasn't a firearms officer. He'd probably have taken his colleagues out as well.